Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of It's Easy to Like Anime, where we're covering Season 2 of One Punch Man. This is Episode 8. I'm your host, Michael Damiani. I'm joined by Ben Moore.
Hey!
And special guest, Kyle Bosman.
This is cool, dude.
What is that?
A live stream with lower thirds.
No! I thought you were doing like an emote or like a dance. Like, do you get this reference? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for joining us, Kyle.
Sure.
So, Kyle, you've actually caught up in Season 2.
Yes.
So you've seen
in
everything.
one day. Yep.
You did Season 2 all in one day.
Season 2 in one day so far, yeah.
All right, nice. So Kyle did catch up with that. So I got to start with you, Kyle. How did you feel about this latest episode?
This episode was drawn out for a character who I thought we understood what his deal was. You know what? It made sense at the end. I think it's justified in the end. This guy who's too cool, he's clearly more powerful than everybody else. And to me, the ending of him crying for a hero does mean something. And so, I mean, it took us a long time to get to that point, but that was the point of the entire episode. What's his name? It's Moomin Rider.
Moomin Rider.
Moomin Rider.
Yeah.
Moomin Rider, like that little brief little thing is like that's his always point is like, hey, he gets beat up, but like he still wants to be a hero. Mm-hmm. Seeing Watchdog Man, I think had nothing to do with this week's theme, but was great to see him do his thing. Yeah, that just kind of ended right like in the middle of their fight. We have no idea until next week how that's gonna play out. I think the last we saw is they're just like, they're just slashing at each other.
Yeah, because Gara was basically like, he's just speed and power.
Yeah.
But he's got such an unimaginable amount of it. I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah,
That was like, he's just speed and power. I've got this. He has a lot of speed and power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really like that reveal because I think we've seen Watchdog Man like 3 times just posed. So to see him cut to, he's on top of a bunch of monsters and everyone's celebrating him. Same expression is so funny. Good utilization of that character. But yeah, I wouldn't say that's part of this week's theme. I like the episode. Okay.
I think the Watchdog Man part was the only part of the episode I liked.
That's I felt like it was a highlight and otherwise kind of plain and drawn out. You put it in a good way, Kyle. I felt like everything was a little drawn out to get to the point that this episode was trying to make. Yeah.
Damiani, I felt like I was watching a different show, kind of.
Which kind of goes, it kind of goes with the problems we've been seeing going back and forth. Like, I feel like this was an episode that didn't elevate above the previous episode. We finally have not. We finally hit that dip again. I feel not as a big dip as we had early in the season because that was like, what was it, episode 2 or 3 was like really bad. That was like the low point. But at the same time, what we were building upon from the past episode, I know I was complaining about there's just too much going on now. This was extremely simplified, very drawn out, and I kind of, it feels like they're going for too many different things in each episode now. This episode was trying to be this. The past 2 episodes, it was trying to be something else. And I think inconsistency is just like the key word here that I'm like feeling with this season so far.
I feel like One Punch Man Season 1, every episode, even when it was very much in its like Monster of the Week role, there would always be some element of the episode that made it feel like One Punch Man, some twist or some joke or some payoff that was like, oh man, that was pretty clever. And this, I felt like I was just watching a generic storyline where they're turning into monsters, and like the cocky guy is crying out at the end. Like there was just nothing about it that stood out, and I feel like this episode was an episode that definitely relied on animation. Like the idea of them eating these gross things and transforming could at least be very visually cool.
Yeah.
But it felt flat, like to the point where we don't even really feel like the need to mention it. Like it would have been great if we saw something really grotesque or frightening or something, and we started this discussion. We're like, hey, do you remember when that happened? And everything just kind of like washed over me, I feel like.
Like the most interesting transformation happened off screen, like the final one. It's like, oh, you weren't able to take it, and then we just kind of waited, and all of a sudden, I finally transformed. It's like, oh, clearly they didn't want to even try and bother to animate that. But no, Ben, you also made a good point. I think it's more than just inconsistency. You hit the nail on the head there. That this didn't really. Your points illustrated why I don't think this felt like a One Punch Man episode.
Right.
It wasn't until oh, hi, Saitama shows up. Saitama shows up at the end. Remember, we're One Punch Man here.
Mm-hmm.
You're like I'm looking forward to seeing. Oh, I just want to see the fight now. I want to see, is inevitable going to happen between Saitama and this Goketsu or whatever. But everything leading up to that, like Kyle, when you're talking about Moomin Rider earlier, season 1's Moomin Rider scene, I think made this point better than way better than what they were trying to do in this episode about, like, sometimes, people need help. Like, this episode is about Suryu trying to learn a hard lesson, but, like, Moomin Rider did it so much more elegantly in season 1. Mm-hmm. And this felt, I think it's just a different perspective between the characters. This was retreading the same ground, the same emotions. And I was just like, we already went through something like this before. Why are we doing this again?
Right. And there were moments in season 1 where Moomin Rider was getting the absolute crap beat out of him, and just the way that it was presented, I really felt for him. And I just didn't, maybe because they had already done something similar, but also the way that it was presented, like, I just wasn't, it didn't affect me, it didn't pull on me in any way.
So I missed other easy to like animes. Did you think he was dead when Garo was smashing his face on the concrete? I thought it was like that was gone. It was like
I'm pretty sure the three of our reaction was, oh, is he dead?
Yeah.
And that was earlier on when I think we started to slowly realize that he's not really killing anyone. He's just badly beating up people. We hadn't gotten over that hurdle yet where we thought he might actually literally be killing people. Because the episode before that was just him, like, we thought murdered all those heroes in the Hero Association.
I thought so too.
We were like, whoa, this dude is straight up like villain. And then, oh no, he's maybe not so much a straight villain.
Yeah.
Red Sky in chat said, I didn't mind slowing down to explain Goketsu and the Monster Association. And I think it's an interesting point. I wouldn't have minded the slowing down either, but I felt like what they were explaining wasn't all that worthwhile or intricate enough to really warrant the amount of slowing down that happened. Yes, it's great that we're highlighting these things, but so far these monsters haven't really grabbed me in any interesting way.
Yeah, I thought when Oketsu was going to have this showdown, I mean, it's going to be next episode between him and Saitama, but he was actually walking away. They were like, we're going back to the Monster Association. His ultimate goal wasn't to fight anyone like that. It was to make other people into monsters, essentially. Mm-hmm. And we've known this for like an episode or two. We've known the monster cells. We saw it with the sword group.
But all those guys said no. I think it is important to see people give in to the temptation.
No, that's a good point. I'm talking about what Ben was talking about with the objectives. They actually said objective 1. We've known this. This didn't really add anything new other than we see a little bit more of the human side of the dissenters, essentially, which that's okay to see, but it did not justify dragging this whole sequence out so long. Like, what are we really getting? We already knew Goketsu was a badass. He one-shot Genos earlier on, so we knew he was a formidable foe. We knew they were trying to turn people into monsters. All this stuff that, the end result was I got more monsters, we're going home. We don't know anything else really after this, and I think it could have been accomplished much. I think what we're going to see next episode, we should have probably gotten that a lot faster. This felt a little bit too much like a filler episode almost.
Another thing it's hard because I don't want every single point to be like, oh, in season 1 they did this a lot better.
Yeah.
But something that I think was highlighted this episode, because you saw multiple people fighting, and I felt it before, but every time I see it, it just makes the point worse, is in season 1, I felt like when you had different characters fighting, be it good guys or bad guys, the way that they moved and felt was different. They had an identity to them based on their abilities, and I feel like every time I watch a group fighting, it feels the same.
This?
Yes. It's just the same every single time, and so it doesn't, outside of the little, it's cool watching Watchdog Man fight because he's funny, and I think the way that they present him is just, the concept of him is good, but watching him fight, he's not really that much different than everybody else. Garo isn't really doing anything that's that much different than everybody else. It just all kind of feels the same. And that is a bummer.
There were 17 different animation directors this episode?
Food chat just dropped that little nugget of knowledge right there.
17? How do 17 people make one thing?
How does that work? How does that even work? I don't know. Yeah, like it just stinks because I'm trying to think like, oh, like there was another scene, right? It was Watchman dog and man and this fight. Like, I'm not forgetting anything. Did anything else transpire? There wasn't even a post-credit scene in this episode either.
That was a bummer.
It was funny, Kyle, because you were reminding us about what you discovered about it, that you didn't realize they had post-credit scenes that you should pay attention to. And we're like, yeah, every episode's been having one this season.
Yeah. So is Watchdog Man, and then the other scene was the monsters explaining their plan. And seeing the robot man like hanging from chains.
Oh, that's it. That's what I want to. Metal Knight.
Metal Knight.
Want to talk about Metal Knight just really briefly because I believe that was Metal Knight's one of his like dummy robots that was captured. And we see, I think, the real Metal Knight at his control station. I believe that was him. Chat, let me know if that's incorrect. Yeah, one of his drones, and it was like, I was saying, like, claw style from Inspector Gadget. Just like, I'm learning more about their true objectives and stuff. And it's like, ooh. Because remember, that storyline apparently has a thread tied to Genos. About, he was warned by Drive Knight at the end of last season that Metal Knight is not your ally. That you need to be watching out for him.
I would have never remembered that.
Because I've been waiting for this plot point to come up again this season. Yeah. It hasn't. It's just been like dropped by the wayside. It's just where'd it go?
That is definitely a problem that has not just happened with this thread, but there have been several moments where it's like, oh man, I can't wait for them to go into that next episode, and then it just doesn't happen. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what. Yeah, I think that's my biggest problem with the direction we're going is we're getting towards like the end of this season. We're 2/3 of the way through. I just don't know what answers we're gonna get, and it clearly can't rest on just its animation and action sequences alone, which was something season 1 could easily fall back onto as a strength. And I just don't know if it's gonna cross the finish line and give me a satisfying feeling for season 2.
I wonder because you're seeing more people consume the weird stuff that makes them monsters. I wonder if we're kind of building to a point, because pretty much everybody we've seen Saitama destroy has been somebody that needed to be destroyed. I wonder if we're building to a point where somebody gets monstrified and he has like doubts about it, or he doesn't want to do it, or he has to hold back and that has consequences.
Yeah, that could be it. I mean, it's not one of the restrictions in the books, but that's the thing. Saitama's like indestructible. He can't be defeated by anything. Like so far, nothing this season looks like it comes even close to the final villain of last season yet.
Right.
But what happens when he's forced to use it on someone he might care about, or someone who might have undergone this transformation? I hope it's not just like a cop out where he just says, "Oh, you made your choice. You decided to be a monster. I'm just gonna like one shot you." Or, something like that. It would be interesting to get into a little bit more into Saitama's head about some of those things.
It's like King?
Yeah.
King would be a good candidate, right?
Oh, that would be so sad. Don't do that, Carl.
What I would want to see with King is he eats it, and then you're like, oh no. And then he just goes back to playing games.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it's like when Ayn eats the thing in the Monsters in the Attic episode, where everyone gets sick from it, or Ed does. It's like, yummy. It's like, oh, nothing happened. You're good. I hope things pick up with the next episode, though. I mean, we've been dancing around the fact that Saitama has been blissfully ignorant of things, like by the proxy of the situations he's been put into. He has not been made aware of, monsters are attacking. He's in this tournament thing right here. So everyone, chaos is reigning, and he's in a little mini tournament arc right here, having a good time and stuff. It's finally come to the point where he is aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
And you've gone to like the point. Like this should be like the crux of the season. What are you going to do with this?
I guess, Kyle, we didn't really get your thoughts on the other episodes of season 2. Like, how have you felt about the season overall?
So, I kind of I think that you have a problem. You have telling a story, right? One Punch Man is really fun because he can beat anything and nothing can ever beat him, and that's just the rule of the show.
Right.
So you have to struggle as a storyteller to come up with a scenario where there is no hope. And I think that's what this entire season is, right? It's all building to the scenario where we, even as viewers, might think like, oh, what if there's no hope? And this might be like an off interpretation, but what I think of about One Punch Man is it's about normal people. It's about how only a few of us can be famous or a celebrity or something. Saitama's the only one who can do that, and everyone else is so far beneath them and really can't catch up ever. And I think the show might be about finding meaning in being those people, is my interpretation of it. I don't know if the show is about Saitama. I can't tell, really. But this season leads me to think that. You know what I mean? It's about, like... I don't know. It's about that kid looking in that book. You know what I mean? It's about working as much as you can for like whatever tier you are part of.
So do you think, just going off that interpretation, that kind of building that sense of no hope, do you think this season has done an effective job of that, and has that story been more interesting to you than what was presented in season 1?
Yeah. Gotta be honest, I don't remember season 1 too well. But yes, I mean, like, there are scenarios where it's just like, oh, these people are doomed. If Saitama were here, he would take care of it. And I think that's why you have to hide him away at certain points. I just think you have to find some way narratively to do it. Otherwise, like, he would just solve everything for everyone and nobody would ever feel a thing. So I wonder. I think something bad's going to happen for him, or else it's over next episode.
Yeah.
If he knows where the bad guy is, he can go punch him and it'll be over. And so I think there'll be something in between.
Yeah, Kyle. It's kind of like the Superman thing, where Saitama might be the strongest person alive. No one can beat him.
Yeah.
But he can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah.
And there inevitably are going to be, like, casualties. And what you're talking about, like, the human factor, Kyle, I just wish this season they would have explored that angle a little bit more. Or given you enough incentive to, like, dive into that and read that way a little bit stronger. Like,
yeah, I think what you said was more investing than anything I've watched this season.
Yeah. It was like, Kyle, I wish I got that out of, like, I wish that was what they were really, like, hammering here. I think that was just, like, a good read by you versus the show's doing a good enough job about that.
I was afraid of that for season 1, because I thought season 1 was about Saitama, and it was about, like, finding meaning in your life when you are, like, you don't like that thing that you're successful with.
Yes.
And so, like, he seems very dedicated to being a hero this season. I don't see him having any doubt with that, though entering the tournament was strictly for money. He's a very simple character to me this year, which I presumed meant the show isn't about him anymore, but maybe it'll get more complicated for him.
It's good, though. I mean, it's an obvious thing, but it should be stated that, these people are human. Like, your heroes are usually humans. They make mistakes. They have human concerns and stuff like that. That's just Saitama. He might be this all strong, powerful one-punch man, but at the end of the day, he's still got to pay bills. He still has his own, like, quirks and stuff that, he loved getting the wig and stuff, that made him happy, and he thought it was cool and stuff.
K to the C in chat is saying, like, Saitama is a super depressed character.
Yeah.
And I think that is totally true. And I love that aspect of him, and I feel like I just got more of that in the first season. I felt like I got more of an emotional response to how he was dealing with things, and I loved that. I loved just those brief glimpses of he would do something triumphant and being like, I get no joy for that.
Yes.
I felt like that really resonated with me, and it's definitely something I'm missing here.
Oh, yeah. It was great, too, Ben, because Genos was his fold in season 1. He would be the ones, like, Master looks so, like, upset. Like, I'm going to try and make him happy. And, it was just like that relationship's kind of gone this season, too. There was, like, they've lost a lot of things, I feel like, from season 2. And again, Kyle, I just wish they pushed that direction a little harder, because there were little glimmers of hope with that. Like the Hero Association being corrupt, caring more about profits than actually
get there,
protecting.
Man. Yeah.
Like, I hope we get there.
That's
but
like the whole. That's another.
But I'm not having so much. It's not giving me a lot of faith right now that we're like, even if we get to that point, it's going to be done well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a little concerned about that.
Sure.
And we'll have to see. Yeah, it's weird feeling like I know we always like dance around like the animation and stuff, just beating a dead horse, but usually there's other stuff in the episodes that like give me optimism, give me hope for the next. And I haven't felt this way since the episode 2 or 3 or whatever. The second time this season, I feel I feel like we feel bummed out.
It's been an interesting rhythm watching this show week to week, because we kind of have those moments where it's like, wow, we just weren't feeling that, and then the next week we'll roll around and be like, oh, okay, we thought that was so much better.
It's funny. I can't wait to watch next week's episode. Like, I'm really, really into the series. I think because on a conceptual level, it's so interesting.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the best anime to watch right now, visually or even, like, writing-wise, but I think I like what's set up there so much.
Yeah, Kyle, it's interesting because I agree with you. I think the concepts are fantastic, and that's like really what made this show so interesting. I just sometimes feel like those concepts could be better executed.
Yeah.
And you said you hadn't watched season 1 in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'd really like to hear your take on like a rewatch of season 1 because it helped me.
It
helped me a lot too because we watched it right before we did this show, and there were a lot of things that I appreciated in a greater depth that I didn't the first time I watched it. So
cool.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that too.
It was fun. I'm glad that you have a different take though. Like it's nice getting something that's like, oh hey, I can't wait to watch what's gonna happen.
I really had a good time yesterday watching a bunch of One Punch Man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's always a good thing to hear. Do you want to answer some questions from some of our patrons?
Yes, some questions. Yeah.
And thanks for getting caught up just to do.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Thank you, Kyle.
It's a pleasure.
Oh, it's great.
I am subbed to Hulu now.
Oh yeah, that was funny. I didn't realize there were tiers. Good thing it was the day before the.
So ad free is like $15. With ads is $6, and I gotta be honest, I'm probably gonna stick with ads.
Yeah, I guess, but yeah, that tier for some reason it was telling Kyle that he couldn't watch today's episode until next week because you have to be like the premium tier to get day and date.
Yes.
For this.
So like I got to watch an episode today that I wouldn't be able to watch until next week. That's actually really crazy.
It was like Kyle's like next week's gonna be like, when I watch a new episode, gotta wait another week.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a bummer.
Is that what everyone else is doing? I mean, before we do Q&A, Chad, I want to know what you're paying for, or how you watch One Punch Man.
That's kind of similar to Crunchyroll, where if you're not a premium subscriber, you can't watch like the latest episodes.
I really don't like that. I mean, it's kind of. I understand the dub stuff. Like Funimation does something called simul dubs, which is the day an episode airs, they will they get the stuff to start dubbing it that day. They'll go back apparently and like touch up some stuff, but they will get a dub up like that same day or like as soon as possible. And that costs a lot of money to get actors and stuff. But
and to do that well?
Yeah, but the simulcasting, I don't understand why people try and withhold it. I mean, I get why. They want you to pay more money so that you can watch it immediately, but it kind of... I hate that practice. I don't really like it. But we got some questions from people who submitted them on our Patreon. Each week I'll just do a post calling for your questions about the newest episode and questions about the anime in general. So let's take a look at what we got for this week. Oh, viz.com/watch. You can watch free with ads. Just an episode behind. That's what... Yeah.
Maybe, but someone else said they're paying $6 and they're getting it. They're watching this week's episode.
I wonder if
right
it was
now.
on the phone. You were on the phone app?
I was on PS4.
Does every company have a streaming service now?
I think that's...
Even Viz. That is crazy.
Well, Viz uses...
Easy Allies, we gotta get in on this.
Yeah, what do you Easy Allies streaming service?
So you can sub to Easy Allies for a streaming service. It's mostly going to be like Huber rolling around.
No. You have to be a premium member for Huber.
Oh, got it. To watch it without ads.
Yeah, otherwise you're going to wait a week later.
Yeah, if you do the basic version, you get to watch the studio with no one in it. You got to pay more to get people in there. Yeah.
You get to watch E3 a week later.
Yeah.
You're not a premium subscriber. Our first question comes from Cathal. Hi, allies. With the mixed quality of this season and only a few episodes left, do you see this season ending in any sort of satisfying way? Or should we just hope the original studio returns and delivers a stellar Season 3?
Oh, I didn't know Season 3 is on the table.
I'm not actually sure if Season 3 is on the table.
Okay.
Chat, has there been any news about that? If you have news, link to like Anime News Network or IGN or something that confirms it. Or Viz. But anyway, assuming there is a Season 3 happening.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I think that episode to episode may have been rough, right? But maybe it helps to binge it. We're definitely escalating to a dramatic climax here because this whole group of cities, A to Z, is in like jeopardy right now. And so, yeah, I can see this being a satisfying conclusion in the end.
I'm actually really glad that you brought that up, and it just made me realize, like, I wonder if I would feel differently about this season if I had just binged it.
Yeah.
And if it would lend itself better to that. Yeah. I think there's hope just because, like we mentioned earlier, Damiani, where we had earlier episodes of this show where we were like, boy, that was awful, and then returned and got a lot of enjoyment out of it. And so I'm not like completely hopeless with it, but I can't. If it just were to end here and just cut off here, I don't think I could walk away and be like, oh man, One Punch Man season 2, you have to watch that. Mm-hmm. It's not a recommendation for me right now.
Yeah. Honestly, I did talk about this a little bit earlier. I think I'll give it a chance. I won't say it's not impossible. It definitely could. And as you pointed out, Ben, yeah, your point, Kyle, about binge watching, I kind of feel, I want to know people who wait till it's all done and watch it and how they feel. I'd love to get a perspective from that because that has definitely impacted previous shows I've watched where they've already been out and then I got to binge them. And people are like, well, try imagining waiting week to week for that.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, that puts you in a different mindset, I feel. And I wonder how much that is affecting our judgment on these episodes in terms of like their quality and our satisfaction level. But yeah, I think it can still turn around. There's 4 more episodes. That's a third of the season. And more episodes have been okay to enjoyable than have been unenjoyable, essentially. So I think you're just tuning in on a day where I didn't enjoy the episode very much. That's all.
I have a question that I need for knowledge.
Sure.
So the webcomic is a different thing from the manga for One Punch Man?
Is it?
Chat's saying so, yeah. And so I guess webcomic is far ahead of the regular manga, which is further ahead than the anime. Is that what we're talking about, chat?
I would guess that would probably be it. Only slightly.
Huh.
Someone said that the anime is going to start catching up. So webcomics don't have a tournament arc. So that was a manga original.
Sure.
Huh, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious how many series kept running as a web series, then became a manga and ran as a manga for a long time, and then became an anime. Because it's usually always manga to anime.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
All right, I'm sorry. I have one last question.
Sure.
Then. If there was an attorney arc, how they hid away Saitama for that long? What was he doing?
That's a good question.
They needed just something to distract him with.
Right.
The main Monster Association villain was not in the webcomic either. Interesting. So Mob Psycho also did the same format, went webcomic, manga, anime.
Man, that's inspiring, right?
Yeah.
So webcomic, you self-publish. And then so you just kind of go and do your own thing, and then you make a lot of money for it when people grow to like it. That's really interesting.
Rinder said Garo stuff happens.
Cool. All right, that probably means we'll find out. I think is what that means.
If that was the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have another question here from Dark Pikachu.
Great name.
Kyle.
Yeah.
What are your favorite heroes and hero names so far?
All right, so it's hard for me to remember, but I remember thinking to myself, "Oh man, that's a good name." What is the name of the S-class hero who ate he ate the Medusa. There's a Medusa with a snake body.
The big guy.
Yes.
Pig God or God Pig or...
It was Pig God. Yes.
Yeah.
Pig God favorite hero name.
Well, I think he's just one of my favorites in general, not just the name. Mm-hmm. Yeah, seeing him do that was a great moment.
Pig God.
Yes.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite name.
Oh.
Even just seeing him for the split second when we did this episode made me happy because I remembered the scene of him.
Oh, when he was calling out to heroes and
someone linked us an example of the webcomic to manga to the anime so far.
Oh, so the webcomic is ugly. Got it. That's so interesting.
So
it's did you just say one to pronounce the artist's name?
Yeah.
Okay, so one is just conceptually an awesome writer, but not a very good artist.
Is gorgeous though.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more detail, the veins and stuff, and the muscle tissue versus just this looks like a angry Evangelion looking thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Quite, it's close, but this thing's that's still kind of cool though. It's it's not as awesome, but if that was the origin, I kind of want to see now the webcomics.
Me
Get
too.
through them.
To me, like that's how I envision myself, right? Like that's what my manga would look like. If I made a little webcomic, it'd be like about that level.
I linked it to you in chat. Just because I'm not at the, I only have a mouse right now, so I can't actually like switch between that at the moment.
Kyle, I hope someday that, like, for whatever reason, maybe we're 50 years old and things go away, we all go our separate ways, and then I just see on Crunchyroll, like, you have an anime.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in the time away. Is that you
toiled away to webcomic.
Yep.
That turned into a manga that was actually drawn well.
And then we'll get the same side-by-side comparison.
Yep. I think a standout hero is Metal Bat. I think he had a really good couple of episodes. But that's just like, such a tropey character. Like you just drop him in any anime and I like him. The guy with the hair who's like a tough guy at the high school but is actually like a really good guy. It's like, we've seen that guy 1,000 times, but he's great every time.
How do you feel about Heavy Metal Loincloth?
Which one was Heavy Metal Loincloth?
He was introduced earlier in the season. He wasn't around very long, but I just like that name. That's all.
Okay, yeah, it's a great name.
He was the one who had the band of guys behind him and tried to help Moomin Rider, and they fought Garo in the park or whatever.
I thought that was Tank Top Guy.
Is that? Or am I? Man, their names all get me confused now.
There have been a lot of heroes.
And then we had we had
a
pile drive attack in this episode as well through like the hospital. That was Tank Top Drive, right?
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. Or is that his name, Tank Top Drive?
No,
that was the move. I thought.
Oh, he did have the funniest line in the episode, which is "You're too courageous for a man who doesn't have a tank top." I thought that was very funny. It was good.
Tank Top Master.
Tank Top Master.
There we go. Tank Top Master. We're gonna need a tank top hierarchy chart. I feel like we need that. That will definitely help us out with that. Any other favorite heroes? Or you good, Kyle?
I just setting up this tournament arc and just amazed sometimes by like character designs and just like the ability to create 16 unique characters that are all fun and like you don't know which one's going to be good because you could see it going all the different ways. Sour Face is great. They all have really good names, just very direct and funny ways. Tank Top Vegetarian is one. That's funny.
That's a good one. I feel sad because except for like Suryu, I really forgot almost all of the tournament characters' names at this point.
Oh, for sure. They're meant to be throwaways.
Yeah, I know. That was again like they threw so many at you. It's just like, it's like every trope under the sun, and we're not going to see you in a little bit. Oh dang! Someone actually linked us the army, the Tank Topper Army.
They're all Tank Top something, right?
Yeah. Oh. Jeez, there's like way too many of these here. Here we go. The members, the leader, and status. Okay, maybe.
Tank Top Rockabilly.
Tank Top Black Hole.
So Tank Top Vegetarian, I think, was introduced before Tank Top Master, right?
I feel like
that's so funny. Like, how do you
Tank Top Al Dente?
Al Dente. Do you like your pasta al dente?
That's so good.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. Much like the other heroes with the tank top motif, Al Dente is a muscular man with a tank top and short hair.
Not much is known about Tank Top Al Dente's personality. He eats pasta for breakfast and uses too much cheese.
It's good stuff.
That's
great.
It's
a fun universe.
I love that. These are good. Tank Top Racer. Oh, that looks good. Thank you for this.
Yeah, don't look at the wiki before.
Yeah, I'm worried that we're going to get into spoiler territory.
Thank you for that, though, chat. That was really good. But yeah, that's... Hank, that's probably going to wrap it up for this episode. Unless there's anything else you have to say, feel good. You feel better about next episode. You're in a good place, Kyle.
I'm in a good place.
You're excited.
I'm really excited for next week to watch the next episode.
How about you, Ben?
I wouldn't say I'm in a good place. I did not enjoy this episode, so hopefully I enjoy the next one. But it's weird because I just have that feeling on its own where I was like, man, that really fell flat for me. But it's still fun getting here and watching it collectively with you guys and talking about it. And so I still enjoy that part a lot. But yeah, the episode itself didn't really do much for me.
I think Kyle and I are both giggling at Phantom Raid's comment.
Phantom Raid?
Yes.
This episode was written by D&D.
I had to learn what D&D meant but
Yeah.
like basically everyone hates those two guys enough that like you just say D&D doesn't even mean Dungeons and Dragons anymore.
Just gotta be careful.
Yeah.
You gotta say like D&D.
That's what happens when they crush your dream.
Yeah.
D. Yeah.
But yeah, huge thank you to Kyle for
Yes.
joining us, man.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll see. I think it would be kind of cool, maybe for the final episode, to bring back both like Brad and Kyle.
Yeah.
To have like
Go
For
a
the
all out.
finale?
yeah for the finale.
When does it fall upon?
That it's like the week or two after E3.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's 2 weeks after E3 is episode 12.
2 weeks? I'm in.
Yeah, so be a good time to do that. And as a reminder, Huber should be back next week, returning for that episode. So we're gonna also have to get his thoughts on the previous 2 episodes, and before jumping into the next episode. Yeah, good stuff. This is fun.
Yeah.
Thank you both. Thank you to everyone who submitted your questions. And until next time. What's yours?
Yeah, I forgot.
Gambare.